Welcome to the BVTV network, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. Now, a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity of meeting Tricia from Discover.live. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the other part of the leadership team when we're going to meet for our BVTV quartet, Jason Wei. Hello, Jason.
Hello, Malcolm. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Now, listen, when we met Tricia, she was in Venice. You know, now you're in, is that Machu Picchu behind you?
That is Machu Picchu, yes.
Machu Picchu, that's how it's pronounced. Yeah. Well, that I have to admit, that's a place I haven't been to. But do they still restrict the amount of visitors to it?
Yes. Every day they have a certain number of tourists that they can go through that, and also they can only go one way in and one way out.
Right.
I think it's good, for them to protect that environment.
Okay. So obviously Discover.live can take you there and take you to places that you can't get to. Jason, can I ask you to take just the one destination from the many you've produced and tell us what the viewer will learn from watching, pointing out for us the key differences that Discover.live offers?
There are many YouTube videos of travel, and there are even travel channels on the TV. The biggest difference between watching a video and Discover Live is it's like you go to the movie theater, you're actually watching a movie and versus immerse yourself inside that movie. So that's the biggest difference, because everything's live. You get to talk to the locals, you get to direct our guide to show you the left, to show you the right, and then get closer to something that you would never be able to get that from a normal TV.
Yeah. So take us one destination that you were particularly proud of that you produce.
I would say Machu Picchu probably is one of our most favorite destinations. And it's also one of the destinations that we're most proud of, just because it takes pretty much like 5 hours for our tour guide to get up there and 5 hours to come down in order for us to bring this breathtaking view to all of our audiences.
Yeah.
So that they don't have to.
So, somebody that's a bit like me, getting a bit older, struggling up the hills, it's an ideal way of actually going to see places, but seeing it in a different light, isn't it?
Absolutely. A lot of people, they have this long bucket list, and we're actually a company that is deep bucket listing. The bucket list, right? Because, a lot of times, people want to go to many different places just to explore the world. It's just always fascinating, always interesting. Not everybody have the luxury to do that. And that's where we come in.
Yeah. So what do you think's been the most challenging destination you've taken somebody to, and why?
The most challenging. So we have done many different types of tours, from the simplest form to the most complicated form. So for example, if somebody wanted to do an ancestry type of tours, and so we have to do a lot of research for that family. We have to do a lot of research in terms of, what are their relatives, and where are the places their ancestors used to live, used to go to school, which church, which cemetery. So in those cases, we just have to do a lot of research before we can actually have a tour together.
Actually, genealogy tourism is massive here in the UK. In Scotland, it's worth £1.9 billion a year. And just in the city of Leicester alone, it's worth 40 million. And it's fascinating because as soon as they find the cottage that Uncle Sam lived in, or the grandma, they want to come back again and find more and more and more, isn't it? Yes. And that's the beauty. I know I've presented events, lots of events on genealogy tourism, and that's the beauty of what you're doing, because your guide can, as you say, do the research, which is not easy, by the way, at times, is it? But also a lot of places are not as accessible, and I just love the way that can be brought to life. So any part of the world you can do that in, is it?
Most part of the world, where we have the tour guides close by, or our tour guides can reach out to. I wouldn't say those tours are challenging because those tours are always interesting to us.
Yes.
It's just it takes a little bit more time to put the tour together. And when we actually able to show the place to the entire family, normally like 80, 90 people, instead of just some of the lucky few, they were able to personally, travel there. That's a big thing for us. We actually really enjoy that, especially in those moments.
It's a few weeks ago since I met Tricia because we've had storms and that in between. But when we were talking about it, I was telling her that only 30, 40 miles away from where I'm sitting is Hadrian's Wall, the famous Hadrian's Wall, which is celebrating 1900 years this year, 1900 years of it. Now, it's not an easy place to walk, but it's a fascinating history. So, and particularly at this time of year when it's cold and not very nice weather, but your guides could still take somebody there to discover, couldn't they?
That is correct. All of our tour guides, they're passionate about the tour guiding. They're certified tour guides, and they're actually the professional tour guides. So, unless like the places that is, causing safety concerns or health concerns to our tour guides, most of the places that we're able to put the tour together.
Yeah. And I think as well, from everything I've learned about Discover.live, which I love, is fantastic. Having been 50 years in travel business, I just, it really is fantastic. I used to hate going to places and wandering around with those earphones on, listening to some disjointed voice that really was almost boring to listen to. But, your guides live there, don't they, and bring it to life?
Yeah, the most important thing is obviously, because our tours not only using the latest video streaming technology, but also the most advanced virtual tour guiding techniques. The most important thing from our virtual tour guide standpoint is how do we train them to engage with the people? Once the engagement is there, that's when all the joy started coming. So from all the tour standpoint, we usually provide pre-tour materials for our audience to actually have some of the advanced learning. And we also encourage them to prepare for questions, just like if they buy those expensive, air tickets and actually go somewhere. And then once they're actually in the tour, then the engagement part starts to come in right away. And so because of that, our tours and our tour guides and our audiences are, don't really feel that boredness, type of thing for, our type of tours.
Yeah, I just love to Discover Live, but we're helping people travel. It broadens the mind, as we all know, but you can also do it without destroying the earth as well, because you're not flying anywhere. Thanks, Jason. Now let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, your website address, which obviously viewers you can see on the screen behind me. But listeners, let me spell it out. It's all the W's dot discover.live. Well, that's an easy one, isn't it? Discover.live. Now, I see so much value for the traveler in what Discover.live is offering that I'm unusually squeezing an extra video out to our founders to make it the first ever BVTV quartet. That's 4 videos. In episode 4, I want to find out if there's value for companies to use the services of Discover.live and the how and the why. So are you up for that, Jason?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the BVTV network, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. This is episode 4 in the BVTV quartet, our first ever quartet with the leadership team of Discover.live. So let's meet again, Jason Wei. Hello, Jason.
Hello, welcome. Very nice to meet you.
You're still in Machu Picchu, which is really
you can tell how much I enjoy that place.
Yes, I love it. Jason, I personally feel there can be great value for companies watching Discover.live productions to either promote their offerings or, importantly, in these days of selling globally, to understand the culture, the people, and the places of interest as a talking point, say, with customers or buyers. Am I right in my thinking? And how does Discover.live help and work with companies?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. We actually work quite a lot with the Fortune, I would say Fortune 500 companies. There are a lot of different needs from the company standpoint, no matter if it's for the team building, because a lot of the companies, especially the large companies, they have their staff, like, basically located all over the place. So we are the ones that actually bring the team together. They get to enjoy a trip to somewhere together and really have fun with it. And then also we have the companies using our service for their client entertainment, mostly financial services, the law firms and the things like that. And then most recently, we started to get more into the hybrid corporate events. A lot of the events started coming back to the in-person, but still, after the pandemic, only I think still have 25% or 30% of people, they just don't feel comfortable of going somewhere. That's when we come in. While those people are, having a dinner together, having a cocktail party, we actually virtually get them to somewhere that is fun. And then we most recently will also get into the intercultural type of training for the large companies.
Yeah. I really like that bit where it's so important if you want to go into a new overseas market, that you understand the culture and some of the facts and some of the aspects behind. Even a few words helps dramatically, doesn't it? Because your prospective customers as well, they've taken the time to know a little bit about us, and it's always. I was talking to Trisha, and I've been to Venice lots of times, and she was talking about Venice, and we then start chatting about St. Mark's Square for tuna and things like that. And, suddenly you've got a conversation going that actually breaks down barriers and creates engagement, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we enjoy doing, just because people are from all over the place, especially in today's world. And the people have different backgrounds and different cultures. One of our tours is actually in India, and we actually take people going into the local villages. Have those people show us the Indian coffee. How's that different from the coffee that we drink in the US, for example, right? And the coconut trees in their backyards. How do they open it, and what do they use to prepare for their food? And why the families are all living so close to each other, and it seems like their uncles and their aunts and they're all within really just within several feet. That is so different than a lot of other countries, right? So that helps the people to really understand the different culture and understand the way how people do the things in different ways, right? And what kind of value that they play in. So in a sense, I think it really brings people closer together and makes the world smarter.
Oh, well, without a doubt, the more we are understanding of each other, then the greater peace will be as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's really, the goal that we have, because we're on a mission to build connections and then bring people closer and actually empower them to live the life that they deserve. And because the more that they do this, the more they will realize there are actually more commonalities than differences between people. And that's what we want to really everybody to realize that.
Yeah, I really like that. There are true. Okay, we've got the differences in language and maybe sometimes in taste of food and everything, but at the heart of it all, we're all human beings, aren't we?
Absolutely. I mean, if you talk about just talking to the different tour guides, right? And pretty much everybody like ice cream. Pretty much everybody loves their families. They talk about the kids. They talk about their schools. They talk about the food. Hey, at the end of the day, everybody's really the same.
Right? Yeah. I just, the whole concept is just so revolutionary, innovative, not revolutionary, innovative that you come about, because you've taken the concept really deep. And having watched some episodes which people can do, by the way. If they go to discover.live, you can have a dive into looking at a video of how it all works and that. And it really is so different. It's not a travelogue. It's, it's not a YouTube that you've been watching. It's really an immersion, isn't it?
It's the newest form of travel. That's how we define it. A lot of people, they just like to start adapting this as a new form of travel. I mean, there are different types of travel before in the traditional way. Mm-hmm. And this is just another way for them to travel and explore the world.
Yeah, excellent. You'll thoroughly enjoy it, everybody. Thanks, Jason. Now, let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, which obviously, viewers, you can see on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me spell it out. And it's an easy one for you this time. It's all the W's.discover.live. That's an easy one, isn't it? All the W's.discover.live. Go there and truly discover. In this first ever BVTV quartet, I've enjoyed meeting the leadership team of Discover.live, Tricia Norton, Jason Wei. I reckon they are spot on with their initiative to bring you not just pre-planning, but also, I reckon, post-experience of a destination. Or maybe you don't even need to go there, but you can discover. In my career, I've taken thousands of travel agents abroad to show them destinations so they could gain product knowledge. That's both costly and time consuming. Discover.live can reduce that dramatically. And if you're a company, it can actually help you encourage engagement with the company, particularly if you're a global company experiencing all the different parts of the world that you maybe have a presence in. The initiative has so many benefits. So thanks to both Jason and Tricia for a great BVTV quartet. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Malcolm.